Hey everyone. In this video, I'd like to show you how I'm using Typebot with Activepieces to connect to OpenAI's new Vision API that got released recently. For those of you that aren't familiar with the Vision API, or otherwise known as GPT-4v, it's just a way to upload images and understand what's happening in them. So I prepared this quick demo to show you how I put it together. So first, we are going to upload an image. So Typebot pulls up the image here, and now I'm prompted to ask a question, and I can ask it whatever. So I'll put, what's happening in this image? And after about 10 seconds or so, I get a response. So it says here, this image shows a modern house with contemporary architecture at dusk or early evening. And it kind of continues, right? So now I can ask it another question about this image or upload an entirely new image and then just kind of go through the process one more time. So this is really exciting. I can't wait to continue playing with this. So what I'd like to do next is to show you how I built it within Typebot and then also within Activepieces. So jumping into Typebot, you can see that the chatbot flow is actually quite simple. It's not very complex at all. So we're just going through this motion here. So we instruct the user what's happening here. Then we ask them to upload an image. We capture that image as a variable. We display that image as an image on the chatbot. And then we prompt the user to ask a question. So then this is where the magic happens, right? We make a call over to Activepieces via a webhook. So this took me a little while to figure out. The documentation wasn't super clear on Activepieces, but eventually after some trial and error, I figured it out. So Activepieces will provide you a webhook URL, and you have to append /sync at the end of this. And normally what I do with webhooks is provide the query params within the actual URL. So it usually looks something like this. You put a question mark, you put in the key, and then you put in the value. Like it could be something like this, right? So I tried it and it did not work when I did it. And perhaps there's another way to do it, but a solution that I found was to actually do a bit more of an advanced configuration, at least according to Typebot, where I pass in the query params like this. So instead of putting the key value pairs within the webhook URL, I put them in here. So you can see that I'm passing in the image and also the user question here. So something to note, the image is an actual link. It's a public link that is created by Typebot. So that's how it's able to work. I think Typebot is using Amazon, some Amazon service to actually create and host the image. So that's how it's getting passed over. And then what we need to do is do a test, right? So I put in some test variables in here so you can see what the link looks like for the image that Typebot creates. And then I pass in a sample user question, right? So when I run this test, you'll see that I get a response down here. So that response is coming from Activepieces. So next, let's go over to Activepieces and show you what that flow looks like. All right, so here we are in Activepieces, and you'll notice that the first piece is a webhook trigger. So this is where Activepieces provides you with that webhook URL. And here's the documentation where I was getting tripped up a little bit. It says, if you're expecting a reply from this webhook, append /sync to the URL. As I stated earlier, I was having a little bit of an issue with that. And then it says that in that case, you will also have to add an HTTP step at the very end. So that's going to return the response. And here it is, and it's at the end of your flow. You can test it out, and then once you do that, you should see your values at the very bottom down here under query params. So you can see that my image got passed over successfully along with my user question, right? So then the next thing to do is set up your vision prompt. So that's the OpenAI piece or step. And there's actually quite a few other ones that I'm really interested to test out. So the one that you're going to select is vision prompt, and you'll have to connect your account, right? And then you pass in the image right here. So you'll grab it from the webhook trigger. Under query params, you'll grab the image, and then you'll do the same thing for the question. So you'll grab the user question here. And then try to test out with some sample data like you see down here, and then you should get the output. So the output you get in the next step under this HTTP block or piece. So this is what it looks like. So you have to do a little formatting. Well, before I jump in there, the action that you select is return response. And then you pretty much set it up as a JSON or a JSON body. So this is how I'm returning the information back over to Typebot. And quickly going over to Typebot, you can see exactly what it brings in, right? So it brings in this under the data key right here. And then of course, test it out, make sure that you get the expected response, and that should be it. So going back to your Typebot, you can test a request, and then the last thing you need to do here is to save that response, or what I'm calling the assistant answer, so that you can display it down here in your chatbot flow. So that's it. That's a quick demo on how to use the Vision API with Typebot and Activepieces in the backend. I'm super excited to continue playing with this. I couldn't wait to create this video for you guys to see what sort of ideas that you guys come up with. And if you have any questions, please shoot them in the comments, and I'd love to hear from you. See you in the next video.